What's up YouTube, Capital G here, got some new Noble Knight action for you guys to check out. As you can see with the opening hand, we got all the new support from Soul Fusion. I actually think, and this might sound a little blasphemous, especially coming from me, that Noble Knights might be the biggest sleeper deck of the format. I know I've been talking up Cyber Dragons a lot, but I think that people are starting to kind of realize about Cyber Dragons, especially ever since like Team Samurai topped that regional with them. Then they had some tops at the 200th YCS and 2 of the 3 events. I think people are starting to give Cyber Dragons the credit that they deserve, but even with 4 cards in Cybernetic Horizon and then 4 new cards in Soul Fusion, I still think that people don't really think of Noble Knight as a deck that can contend in any way. People still just look at the deck and they think, oh yeah, that's the archetype that gave us Isolde, right? The best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Everybody just knows this archetype because its Link Monster is like the most broken thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, but Noble Knights are an extremely good deck, and they actually specialize at grinding really well. The card Noble Knight Brothers is something that I'm seeing pop up over and over again. That card definitely helps them grind extremely well. It's like a mini pot of avarice, and it gets some new cards. But you guys are going to see what I'm talking about in this duel. This is against a Thunder Dragon Dinosaur variant right there. Nice effect Veiler on the Oviraptor, not getting much out of the normal summon. He is going to end with a board of the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and then one probably of the real big Thunder Dragons. Okay, so he's got himself the Superbolt or the Thunder Dragon Titan. Is it Titan or Colossus? Damn, I gotta look up those damn Thunder Dragons. But you're going to see right here that Noble Knights are definitely a deck that can contend. His opponent tries to activate the Ultimate Conductor effect, but nope, we got the copy of Morgan. She is the new hand trap for the deck, so it's a really nice option because it's an offensive and a defensive card. Just an excellent card overall. This forces the Medrot through. Now he's able to get to Isolde, and from here he is going to obviously be able to activate the Brothers and be able to go for an Exceed Summon. You're going to see Brothers a lot. Custonin is such a good card against extra deck cards. You know what? I gotta go back and watch my video on Custonin, but I'm not sure if I shit on this card or not, but I think I may have said specifically that it's really good against extra deck summons, and if your opponent does summon monsters out of the extra deck, like Custonin is really good in that case. But honestly, this might be one of the best Exceeds in the archetype. Custonin is such a good card. Called by the Grave being used on a Bestial Thunder Dragon, not going to resolve that. He does get a quote list, and he's not done there. He's actually going to Thunder Dragon Fusion for the Thunder Dragon Colossus Titan, whichever one it is. So he's able to recover from the Call by the Grave really well. But check this out. When Custonin dies, it ranks itself up into Artorias, and then Artorias can just get all the equips from the graveyard. This is why Custonin is such a good card. Not only does it wreck the monsters special summon from the extra deck, but then when it dies, it ranks itself up into Artorias, and then you usually get a bunch of equip spells. So it's a really good card. Now his opponent might try to put it face down again to try to detach some of those equip spells after he blows up the Conductor Tyranno, but it's fine. He's able to just basically press through, goes for Custonin, bounces the Thunder Dragon Titan, and then just continues. Even when his Custonin attacks into the Overtex, all he's going to do is just go back, and he's going to rank up into Artorias again. That actually, like that what's the word I'm looking for? That interaction is actually ridiculous with with Noble Knights. The fact that you can just kind of use those monsters to loop each other kind of reminds me of Seer and Dante, like back in the day when those cards were, well, when Seer was at like multiples, a very long time ago. I guess multiples in the OCG as well. Dante's limited there. You see right here, bringing out Noble Knight Brothers from the graveyard, gonna activate its Pot of Avarice mini effect to get himself another card. And it just feels like, you know, as the duel goes on and on, just feels like Noble Knights are eventually going to outgrind the Thunder Dragon deck. You see he's gonna go for Isolde again, but usually Isolde is just kind of a means to an end when it comes to Noble Knights. Usually you're going to see an Exceed Summon after that. Custonin summon for about the 50th time this duel, and now Thunder Dragons he's pretty much out of resources. He draws the copy of Hey True Nade. He has his last search from the copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion, but even with another Thunder Dragon Lord on field, he's just not going to be able to get rid of Custonin. Again, even if he kills it, it just ranks itself up anyways. So, you know, now at this point, he can just activate the effect. He can send the Thunder Dragon Lord back to his opponent's extra deck, and his opponent's going to scoop after that. Not much he can do. So you can see the first duel, it was quite dominant. I mean, eventually, he just outgrinded his opponent, and there wasn't much that he could actually do, despite the fact that he summoned so many big fusion monsters. Now, this one was like, it was troll and a little bit of like, I guess brilliance at the same time. It wasn't even like planned brilliance, but when you look at this Ancient Gear player, his opening hand, this is like the perfect going second hand. You have Dark Hole and Evenly Match. Even if your opponent made a really big board with like a Tri-Gate and a Gate, you could just activate Dark Hole, they use their Tri-Gate Wizard, then you go Battle Phase Evenly Match, you just banish everything, GG no free at that point. But I don't know. I feel like he's trolling. And if you went first, you'd be good too, because you could set Solemn Judgment and you'd set your, your Waking the Dragons. If they pop Waking the Dragons, Ultimate Raptor, basically GG no re. So honestly, he should win this duel going first or second, but I feel like he might have actually trolled at this point. You'll see exactly why. This is just like how to throw away a god hand going first or going second. You can see Noble Knights are probably just going to go for Artorias. Pretty standard play. Get a bunch of Noble equips to make it so that it's incredibly difficult to destroy. Now look, he doesn't have Morgan. He does not have the negation. All he has to do is go Battle Phase, end Battle Phase, activate Evenly Match. He can banish all the cards on his opponent's side of the field. He still has Solemn Judgment to back him up, and he can just play through that. He could even use Dark Hole to get rid of the monster if he wanted to, and all his opponent's Noble Arms cards are going to be banished face down, so he's not going to be able to get them back. Instead, like a dummy, a digital dummy, he activates Dark Hole, knowing this thing can't be destroyed by a card effect. Then he gets Effect Veiler, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, now you have a monster on field, you can't evenly match. Even if he didn't stupidly set these spells, trap cards, which was dumb, by the way, he wouldn't be able to evenly match because he summoned a monster, and now his god hand has just been completely wasted. I don't understand why. Now, luckily, his opponent does use Artorias and actually gives him the ability to use his Waking the Dragons at the cost of his Solemn Judgment, so he does get the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, or, oh my god, I'm trolling. He gets the Ultimate Falcon. Too many Ultimate monsters in these duels. He gets the Ultimate Falcon on board, but the thing is, Noble Knights are a deck that can actually kill Ultimate Falcon relatively easily. I know some decks will actually use like Boros Sword Dragon, but this is a deck that just can use a simple Artorias and they can actually kill it because the Noble Arms cards gives the guy enough attack. You can see even with a Solemn Strike there, it's a little unlucky that he happens to have Monster Reborn and that he's able to basically recover so easily. All he has to do is get his Noble Arms back from the graveyard. It can't be destroyed by battle, so he's able to just crash into the Ultimate Ruri, and he's just not going to be able to come back from that. Just think though, if he would have activated Evenly Match, all of those Noble Arms cards would have been banished face down. His opponent would have had no way of being able to get those cards back, and he could have just relied on his Solemn Judgment to carry him to victory. Yes, his Ancient Gear would have gotten Effect Veiler, that's fine, but I don't know, I feel like that's all he basically would have had, and he would have been able to just win through the Solemn, and he had a Solemn Strike coming too. Come on, man, he just threw away the game right there, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those short duels. If you did, oh, you know what, hold on, I think I have to show the I'm trolling again. I gotta show the deck. Let's show the deck first. Okay, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. Man, I like the way that this is all kind of organized. I did just shuffle the deck around a little bit, but I mean, like with the side deck, it's actually reminds me of watching like a Lithium video where there are cards in the side deck basically as suggestions. It's not usual to see a Noble Knight deck that doesn't run boars, but I guess they're just kind of at the point where they don't really need it anymore. The deck is more so about getting to a sold and then getting to your Exceed plays after that. You know, I've never been like a really big Noble Knight fan. Somebody explain to me, what the hell is this damn shadow in the back of Midrat? I know that there has to be, you know, there has to be something to do with the stories. I'm like, oh cap, you know, Midrat ended up turning into King Arthur, which is like, Artorias is King Arthur, right? I assume that this guy is like King Arthur, and I know that Noble Knights have a synchro that's dark, so does that have anything to do, or is this like, is this guy this guy? Like, I'm not exactly sure, but I want to know what the hell that is in the background of Midrat. I was just looking through the cards and I noticed this, the hand trap Morgan being ran at 3 of in this deck. That's really good because, you know, now I guess well, in this build you have what, 8 hand traps, so that's pretty good. All of them are light. You've got your 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, Effect Veiler, and then your Morgan, and then, well, I guess, I mean, Caught by the Grave is not really a hand trap. It's just like a good defensive card to like push your plays through. No legitimate traps in this deck. I mean, I guess that, you know, space is a bitch and you probably don't have room. The rest of the cards seem all kind of just like standard. We knew the new Noble Knight card, the new like Rhoda / Warrior Returning Alive built into one card. We already knew that this was going to be like a 3 of in the deck. It's the best card that they got out of Soul Fusion, so this card is utterly ridiculous. You're going to use it. I like the fact that some of like the really old Noble Knights like Midrad and Gawain, these are cards that have been around forever. They're still just really good in the deck, especially Midrad. Like Midrad is such a good card, and even though we only saw one copy, or even though there's only one copy of Noble Knight Brothers in this deck, we did see this card help in the grind game like exponentially. Custoden, when it comes to the extra deck, seems to be very important. This was one of the new Noble Knights that came out of Cybernetic Horizon. This plus Artorias is just so good. Oh, there's just two different versions of Artorias. I think that this was the one that got summoned most of the time, but you know, it could have been the other one. Honestly, I might not have noticed between the two different versions of Noble Knights. I guess, you know, with the cards in the side deck, you guys can feel free to make improvements or to adjust the deck as you see fit. But I believe that what my eyes tell me is that Noble Knights is a pretty good deck, and it can grind well, and because of, you know, a card like Isolde, the deck feels like it's back on the map with all the new support. Now this is actually making me not want to see Isolde get banned. I think Konami might have to go in a new direction. Like, what could they do instead? Isolde's just so flipping good right now. What could they do? I mean, I guess you have to hit Armageddon Knights and hit Malicious. Both of those, like limiting Malicious would kill that card. I'm getting too off topic at this point. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos and check out these other videos I know you'll enjoy.